Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. I'm Audra and I post videos every Tuesday and Friday on mostly like beauty and fashion content. So I did miss Tuesday's video, which I literally hate doing that so much, but this week I've been really focusing on my little resin ring jewelry business. I'm redoing most things on it. I really want to make it exactly how I want. So I've been experimenting. It's been a long journey to get to where I'm at and where I want it to be. And I'm one of those people that I won't do or say or produce or show anything that it's not 100% me. And I don't say things I don't mean or do things I don't mean. So it's very important for me to have the image and the products that I really want. And yeah, so we're almost there. I just this week really needed to sit down and finish it out so that I can kind of do a relaunch almost next week, and have it exactly the way that I want it. So I didn't have enough mental capacity to also try to make content, so I've been super MIA on everything. But I feel once I get over this hurdle of getting my business exactly how I want it, and then I can just be creative and have fun with it from there, because all my basics and my foundation will be right, then I'll have a lot more creativity and stuff like that to be able to continue with content creating and all that. So enough of that. So today's video, I wanted to do the clean girl aesthetic makeup. I know it's really big right now. It's kind of one of those viral things, that whole aesthetic. But it's basically the makeup that I always strive to do in the first place. The very dewy, healthy looking, flawless skin. It's a no makeup makeup. You just look exactly like what it says, just clean and put together. And so we're going to be focusing on mainly really good, beautiful skin today, because I feel that's the most important part, and that's what I always focus on anyway. I've said it before where I don't enjoy doing eye makeup that much. Sometimes I can have fun with it, but it's definitely not my forte. I'm not that good at it or anything, I don't feel so I a very natural, neutral eye. I will always purchase face makeup before any kind of eye makeup. I'd rather buy foundations and bronzers and glowy things and make my skin look really nice and healthy, skincare and everything too, before I ever would buy an eyeshadow palette. So this look is definitely right up my alley, so I'm just going to give some tips on how I kind of achieve that clean girl, healthy looking, dewy skin. Let's get started. So the most important thing I feel first is your skincare. So my morning skincare usually just consists of a vitamin C serum, so my skin looks nice and glowy and even. And I'm working on getting rid of some dark spots and stuff. I'm definitely susceptible to that. And then a really nice thick heavy moisturizer. Obviously if you have oily skin, you might not enjoy thick moisturizers, so that's totally fine, but something that's nice and dewy. And for my combination to dry skin, I like something nice and thick. So the most glowy moisturizer that is such a beautiful moisturizer is the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. Everyone knows and loves that, but it is very, very expensive. So I just ran out of it, and I decided not to repurchase it this time. It just was a little bit too much for me to go after right now. So I am back to my Tula Day and Night Cream, I think it's just called, 24/7 Day and Night Cream. And that's not cheap either. It's definitely higher end skincare. So, but I wasn't willing to spend that much for moisturizer. So yeah, it's still nice. My skin still has some glow here, but it's just not quite as dewy as Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. So that's my #1 recommendation for first getting your skincare down, getting those glowy products in there, and making your skin first look really nice underneath. and working on that, because obviously all the pictures we see of like the clean girl aesthetic, everyone has flawless skin, and that's not always the case. I feel like no one has that beautiful skin all the time, so that's okay. But if you want to get on your way to achieving that, then I feel like your actual base and your skin and the health of your skin is going to be number one. So I'm not going to use primer because I feel like the stuff that I'm going to use is already glowy enough, and I feel like I have a good base with my moisturizer that I don't feel like I need another layer of something other than what I'm already going to be putting on my skin. And then I'm also going to have an SPF in my foundation or my skin tint in today's case. So I'm also not going to add that, but that's something I would normally add under my foundation. So like I said, the foundation I'm going to be using today is very glowy in and of itself, so I don't feel like I need that much more glow. I'm not going to be adding like a highlighter really or anything on top, but I am going to add the Auric Glow Lust Luminizer. I have this in Selenite, and I'm just going to add it to the high points of my cheeks. I don't want to look like, I don't want it to look like highlighter, so putting it underneath my foundation is going to help it look really natural. But I just want to make sure my skin's dewy. I don't think I would honestly need this step if I was wearing the dewy skin cream, but since I'm out of it, I'm just going to add a little bit more glow to the high points of my cheeks. I just want to look like lit from within, and that is so pretty. Okay, and then for my foundation or my base, I'm going to use the Ilia Skin Tint. It's just so dewy, it makes your skin look really healthy, but it is a lighter coverage. I would say it's like, it's enough coverage to make your skin look nice and even, but it's definitely not going to really like cover blemishes or cover too much redness. So I love this on like good skin days if I'm wanting that like flawless base. But if I'm having a bad skin day and I still want that flawless base, I mean, sometimes you have a bad skin day and you don't care, and that's totally fine, and then I will just use this. But if I really want that like nice even skin that looks really flawless, then my higher coverage option for something really dewy and beautiful is the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup. It's just a beautiful foundation. So it's like, I think, pretty much my favorite foundation ever, or has been for the last couple of years. So if you want that flawless looking base that's still really nice and dewy and hydrating, and you feel like you need more coverage than the skin tint, then this is the one I always go with. My first very dewy skin tint slash foundation that I used to use all the time was always the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. This foundation was beautiful, but obviously Becca's no longer. This even got discontinued before they even closed. This is old, but I keep it because I've loved this foundation so much, and I felt like it was in the starting era of like the whole dewy wet skin. So little honorable mention, little rest in peace moment. I used to love this so much. Since I'm having a good skin day, thank God, I'm gonna use the Ilia Skin Tint. I would normally either use my fingers or a wet beauty blender to blend this out, but I still do not have a beauty blender. I even went to Ulta, but I forgot. So I'm just gonna use my Rare Beauty foundation brush and kind of just buff it into the skin. It's so like liquidy that it does work really well with your fingers and a beauty blender, but it still works just as well. I think soon I'm going to do a full face with Ilia because everything I've tried from them is so nice. I've really been loving their products and their vibe, and their products are more clean. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. This shade is called Formosa, as well. I have this in 2 shades. I have it in a darker shade, a more deep shade for summer, but I'm at like my ultimate lightest right now. And then I always do put foundation over my eyelids. I just like the evenness of it. Just gonna make everything look nice and even. And then I'm just gonna use some more like higher coverage concealer on a couple little blemishes and just some like redness, mostly around my nose, honestly. And this is pretty much my skin tone. I wouldn't say it's much lighter. I want to definitely match my skin tone when I'm covering blemishes. And a good tip too to make your concealer look really natural is to apply it underneath your foundation as well. I kind of forgot to do that today, but it's a good little tip if you just want that extra coverage. Just do it under your foundation, especially if it is a little bit lighter and you don't want to highlight those places. If you just put it under your foundation and you're kind of just using it for the coverage, and then you cover it with your foundation, it makes it a little bit more of like an even look, not so like noticeable. And then for under eye concealer, I'm going to use the Kosas concealer. It's such a pretty dewy concealer. I'm just going to lighten a little bit under my eyes with that. And then I'm also going to pull this up to kind of lift the cheeks and just add to like that little bit of dewiness there too. This also like is so dewy that it almost acts as a little highlighter too. So just kind of brighten underneath. I don't want to go too full coverage or anything under my eyes. You know, you want your skin to look flawless, but I want it to look like skin as well. So I don't want to have like just like triangles of like complete cover there. And then I know a lot of people, when they do the clean girl aesthetic kind of a look, just do like a little bit of bronzer just to like bronze everything up, but I like to actually contour a little bit. I feel like that adds to the more like naturalness of the makeup, and you're just adding a little bit of shadow to make it, and I feel like it appears to the eye like it's actually your skin and your bone structure. So I just add a little bit of it, and then I'm going to add a little bit on the forehead. And since I'm wearing a turtleneck, I don't think I'm going to add any underneath. I don't want to get too much like on this turtleneck. And I don't contour my nose at all. You definitely can if that's something that you like to do. And then I'm just going to use the same foundation brush and just blend it out. I'm blending like upward and out to lift. I just like a sculpted cheek, and that's where I feel most confident and most put together, when I have like an actual like definition and kind of lift to my face. But I definitely want to make sure it's like really blended out so that it doesn't look too much like makeup-y. And then I do find that creams are kind of the way to go with this look. They just appear more dewy and natural and melt into the skin a little better, especially if you have like drier skin like I do. It doesn't sit on top, it just looks like it's melted into the skin. So really pretty, just like a light contour, but it looks more like natural, but I still look done up. And then for blush, I'm going to use the Cherry Blossom Babe in the Nude Sticks Nudies Bloom All Over Dewy color. These are the best for that dew because they truly are very dewy. So it's a really pretty pink color. Just gonna make me look a little bit like blushed. And I'm not gonna add a ton of this because I feel like the clean girl aesthetic isn't too like pinky or blushed, it's more like bronzed. So, and I'm just gonna blend this out with my finger. But I like a little blush. Just think it just adds to it, makes me look more lively and awake. And then I usually put it over my nose as well. Just add a little bit. So not much, but I like it to add a little bit of life. I just like blush. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of powder under my eyes, just so I don't get like creasy. And then I'll probably put a little bit down my T-zone as well, just because I tend to get really oily throughout the day there. And I want to look dewy, but I don't want to look like sweaty and too wet. I'm just staying really focused so I don't get rid of like too much of that dew. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of bronzer in my crease. I'm just going to use the Milani bronzer because it's a nice like neutral matte tone. And I'm just using that same fluffy setting brush from Real Techniques that I used with my powder, and I'm just kind of like pushing it into the crease. I just want to add that like shadow and depth without it looking too much like eyeshadow. But I feel like this just helps to look more like put together, not such like blank eyes. And then for brows, I'm pretty much just going to brush them out, add some clear brow gel, but first I'm gonna fill in just the ends with this Precisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit, just to like lengthen my brow a little bit. That's kind of like just the most sparse area on my brow, but I don't want it to look too drawn on. I just want to add a little bit of length. I'm going to brush that out to kind of like blend it in. And I'm going to take that same powder brush and just like blend it out a little bit. It just makes it look more natural and blends it in a little bit more. So I want them to be like nice and fluffy. And then I'm just gonna take my Anastasia clear brow gel. Obviously any clear brow gel. And I'm more gonna go like pull them back, because I feel like it doesn't look too like clean girl aesthetic like if they're too like lifted. It's obviously very obvious that your eyebrows don't sit that way, so but you do however you like it. And then I'm going to curl my lashes, very important part because I'm doing a very light mascara, so I want them to be nice and lifted. My lashes grow straight out, so they're nice and long, but I feel like sometimes, what are you doing? But I feel like sometimes it's hard, like you don't see them looking at me because they're so straight out that you can't even like tell that they're there or something. And then I feel like the perfect mascara for this look is the Glossier Lash Slick, because it just does that very light coat. It's very like lengthening and separating, but it's not like this heavy volumizing thick mascara. Just kind of gives you those like wispy little lashes. I'm going to do a very light coat on the bottom. So I don't want them to look too dramatic, but I do want something on them. And for lips, for this look, I like to do more of like a red, because I feel like since everything's so simple and like more natural looking, that I like to add a bolder lip with it, because I just like love that look. So, but I also feel like a more brown tone lipstick is really pretty as well. Like my go-to is Spirit from MAC. That one I wear all the time, so that's really pretty too, especially with like the bronze in the eyes and just like the kind of contour and stuff. Staying all kind of like monochromatic brown is really pretty. But I like adding a little bit of spicy red. I think it pulls everything together and just makes you look really put together, clean, and nice. So my go-to for that is the Ultra Lip from Glossier. This one's in Fete, Fight. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's really pretty. And you can also add like such a light little layer, so it looks like almost like a stain. So that's really pretty. Otherwise, today I'm going to use the Go-Go Tint from Benefit. It's just like the original like cherry one. And I love how this lasts all day. I don't have to worry about it at all. I'm literally just gonna add a little bit. I'm gonna blend it out with my finger. It's just like the prettiest little like wash of color. And you literally don't have to deal with it at all. It just stays this way. Just like how I feel like this makeup look is super low maintenance and just like easy and minimal, I feel like the lip, like a stain like this, really goes along with it. I'm just gonna spray a little bit on my MAC Fix Plus. So that is how I do the clean girl aesthetic. Very flawless, dewy skin, very minimal. You just look clean and nice and put together. It's like my favorite go-to look. I pretty much strive to achieve this like dew and clean looking look almost every day. So that's my take on the clean girl aesthetic makeup. Let me know what you guys think. But I am off tomorrow to a bachelorette weekend in Chicago, so I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday for another video. I'm not gonna miss it this time. Bye.